Tonight on Cronkite News, an inside look at the migrant lives lost at the U.S.-Mexico border and what's being done to prevent them.
A new bill in Arizona will prohibit discrimination based on gender identity, pregnancy, and sexual orientation. But some Arizona lawmakers don't agree with it.
And later this half hour on Break It Down, how award shows contribute to racial inequity.
Cronkite News starts now.
Good evening and welcome to Cronkite News in Arizona PBS. I'm Gabrielle Zabat.
And I'm Jay Coulter. Thank you for joining us. Many migrants continue to lose their lives in an attempt to cross the border and reach the United States. Cronkite News reporter Emma Vandeninde explains the reasons why many continue to die and the efforts some make to prevent it.
2020 had many record-breaking statistics, and the border proved to be no exception. Last year, migrant deaths reached a record-setting high. However, the struggle that many migrants face is nothing new. Some images may be graphic for some audiences, so viewer discretion is advised.
Uno la recogen y quita toda la cementa.
Every day, as we speak right now, there's people laying down under a bush or next to a river bend in the desert, waiting for someone to listen to their crying, to their yelling of help.
This is the reality that Gerardo Campos says he encounters every weekend. Skulls, forearms, random bones, all connected to different migrants who did not survive their trek through the desert.
You feel guilty. We feel guilty because how is that possible that somebody died and nobody cared about it?
Campos has been searching for migrants for 8 years as a volunteer, but recently he created Paralelo 31, an organization that searches for bodies at the border. He says that due to the influx of migrants who try to cross, it's never a matter of if he finds a body, but when.
Like, if we could do it every day, that would be great, because there's so many bodies waiting for us. That's how I call them. They're waiting for us. And for any other, humanitarian group or any other person that wants to walk into the desert and look for them.
Last year, the remains of 227 migrants were found in the Arizona desert, making it the deadliest year on record for migrants crossing into the United States through Arizona, according to Humane Borders. In September alone, 181 migrants were found in the desert. Dr. Gregory Hess, Pima County Chief Medical Examiner, says some migrants die of starvation, but he says that most of the people die from a cause all too familiar to Arizonans.
2020, we set a number of heat records in Arizona, and that's probably the single greatest contributing factor.
Without any water or shade, the Arizona summers can move from hot to deadly in a matter of degrees. Both here in Tempe and at the border, temperatures reached almost 120 degrees during the summer of 2020, according to the National Weather Service.
Due to the difficulty of the body identification process, it is still unclear where the numbers will stand in the 2021 fiscal year.
So the remains we recover are not always people that die within the time frame that they were found. So let's say you have skeletal remains. Sometimes we can look at skeletal remains and determine that this person probably died within the last 3 to 4 months, and the remains were found in August of a particular year.
Many people risk their lives to end up here. At the end of October of last year, there were over 800 bodies without a name in the morgue. The 2019 report from the Pima County Medical Examiner indicates that the majority of unidentified bodies range between 50 and 89 years old.
Aquí miren, pueden ver amigos.
For now, Campos will continue to look for bodies. The only thing he cares about is keeping migrants alive.
They have to pay with their own lives just because they want to look for a better life. Migrating is not a crime. We know that.
These migrants come from many different countries, but most come from Central America. The Pima County Medical Examiner's annual report indicated that in 2019, 41% of identified bodies were from Guatemala and 37% were from Mexico. In the studio, Emma Vandeninde, Cronkite News.
Nonprofit Equality Health Foundation is partnering with Arizona State University to provide free COVID-19 testing tomorrow. This event plans on providing health resources for communities of color and those hit hardest by the pandemic. Bilingual staff will be available to help out. Results should be back within 48 hours, and medical consultations will be given for those who test positive. The foundation will also be distributing 165 free food boxes while supplies last.
People's lives are on the line right now, so they're very grateful for there being an opportunity in their community to be able to get these services that's going to help them protect themselves and their family.
The event is tomorrow from 7 a.m. to 1 p.m. at El Reposo Park in Phoenix. Registration is available both online and in person. A new survey from the Kaiser Family Foundation shows most Americans either want to get vaccinated against COVID-19 or they already have. The survey indicates 55% of people fall into those categories. That's up from just under half in January. The survey finds Black and Hispanic adults are most likely to take a wait-and-see approach, and it illustrates a political divide, with Republicans showing more hesitation to get the shots than Democrats. The top concern for most is a fear of serious side effects.
The House yesterday passed the Equality Act, extending civil rights protections to cover sexual orientation and gender identity, or depending on who's talking, trampling on religious freedom and individual rights.
The yeas are 224 and the nays are 206. The bill is passed.
Arizona Congressman Andy Biggs falls into the latter camp.
And while it attacks religious freedom, freedom of expression, and freedom of association, all important rights recognized in the First Amendment, it doesn't stop there. It also denies the biological facts that men and women are the two genders.
Biggs' take on what he called the quote-unquote Inequality Act was opposed by fellow Arizona Congressman Greg Stanton.
We are a nation that believes all are created equal and that this truth is self-evident. Everyone deserves to be seen, to feel heard, to be welcomed and protected.
The bill redefines sex and civil rights laws to include sexual orientation and gender identity. It also includes protections for women who are pregnant or have recently given birth. Those protections would cover housing, employment, accommodations, education, healthcare, and more. Critics like Congresswoman Debbie Lesko called the bill too broad and said it would backfire against the people it's intended to protect.
Any facility that's open to the public will require, under penalty of federal law, that you take in biological males who identify as women and put them right next to the girls and the women in the showers, the locker rooms, and bathrooms.
The bill's fate in the Senate is uncertain. A similar measure that passed the House 2 years ago never got a hearing in the Senate. But Diego Miguel Sanchez, Director of Advocacy Policy and Partnerships at PFLAG, said supporters of the measure have their quote-unquote strongest opportunity this year to get a bill through the Senate. Sanchez, who said he has been fired from a job for being transgender, called the bill vital.
It won't be easy. We know that President Biden has said that he will sign it into law when it reaches his desk. We need to make that a when and not if.
In Washington, Jay Coulter, Cronkite News.
Luke Air Force Base has been offering bottled water to some nearby residents after discovering groundwater was contaminated. Air Force sampling found potentially dangerous levels of chemicals used to help fight fires in the water. The chemicals can lead to cancers and problems in fetal development. Letters have been sent to about 6,000 people across Glendale, Litchfield Park, and Maricopa County. The Air Force is planning to put filtration systems in beginning in April, and they'll continue testing the water a mile around the contamination site. For right now, those who have been notified of danger can pick up bottled water from the Air Force Base until March 22nd. Taking a look now at our weekend weather forecast, looks like we'll be cooling down some as a storm moves in from the north.
Abigail Verwick is joining us now with more on that. Abigail?
Yes, as we see some of that light rain move through the coast, things are going to start to cool down for us. Even though we won't be seeing any of that rain here in the valley, we will be seeing some cooler temperatures starting with this evening. Friday night, we have at 6 o'clock a temperature of about 7 degrees, sunny and clear skies. However, as we continue to move through the evening, we're going to see those temperatures drop to just below 60 degrees at 10 o'clock. Following this trend, we have some pretty cold temperatures tomorrow morning on Saturday. Right around the Grand Canyon, Flagstaff, and Holbrook, we are going to be seeing lows just around 20 degrees. As we move down south towards Phoenix, Casa Grande, and Gila Bend, we're going to be seeing our low temperatures sit right around the low 40s. A little bit cooler than usual, but if this is cold for us, I am not complaining. Let's take a look at the rest of our weekend. The highs for Saturday and Sunday and Monday are between 60 and 70 degrees with beautiful sunny skies. Looking ahead into next week, we're going to see the temperature start to warm up despite some clouds rolling in. Next Friday, we are looking at a high of 81 degrees and Saturday 79. This is going to be great weather if you want to start laying outside or doing really anything outdoors before it starts to get too hot. That is your 8-day forecast. In the Weather Center, I'm Abigail Verwick.
By the end of February, downtown Phoenix will display 28 new murals painted in honor of Black History Month. Cronkite News reporter Delaney White caught up with the organizer behind the project.
Gisette Knight is the driving force behind the murals honoring historic Black figures in downtown Phoenix. She says the project is meant to be educational, and she hopes it will inspire others to celebrate Black History Month.
Black History Month. Getting a colorful boost and more permanent attention through Gisette Knight, who organized this mural project.
It was a couple of community members that I had meetings with, and they said a mural needs to happen because our babies need to see themselves out there. They need to see their culture out there.
Last summer, Knight proposed a Black Lives Matter mural to Phoenix City Council. When they rejected the idea and decided to move in another direction, Knight did not give up, proposing a new idea to local business owners.
And it just dawned on me, why not celebrate Black History Month and incorporate murals into that? And so that's when I came up with the idea to paint 28 murals representing the 28 days of Black History Month and make it educational, where we're showcasing icons of Black figures that don't get the recognition that they deserve for things that they contributed to society.
Knight asked business owners if they would support the project by allowing the murals to be painted on the side of their buildings. 28 agreed, but business owners are not the only ones donating to the cause. Many talented artists like Maggie Keene also donated their time to help make this happen.
There needs to be more awareness and just celebration of these people and their contribution to society as a whole.
Knight says this project is not only about celebration, but also education.
You get to see people that you may not have known, contributed to certain things or, may not have gotten the accolades that they deserve.
Cecil Abaton, an Arizona resident, drove to downtown Phoenix to see the murals that are a part of Knight's project. Abaton thinks they will help with the representation of diversity in the community.
When they talk about it being a melting pot, I think it's more of a salad bowl myself, personally. I think we each have our own little pieces of our identity, and I think we can't forget about it, and that's what makes America great. It's not the melting of and going away of where you're from. I think it's identifying how you got here.
Knight says she's been overwhelmed with the reaction from the community.
Well, from the response I'm getting, people are hitting me up, thank you for this, thank you for, persevering and staying with the mural idea and not giving up. So a lot of people are loving these murals.
The majority of the murals are located in downtown Phoenix near the Roosevelt Row Arts District. In the Broadcast Center, Delaney White, Cronkite News.
How far would you go for a fan? Well, one Arizona Coyotes member went to the extreme. Coming up after the break, we'll take you skating for Leighton and show you what the player did to keep the memory of a special little girl alive. Don't go away.
This month in Passport on the PBS Video app, your on-demand library for the best of PBS.
If I'm to make a name for myself, I need as much experience as possible.
Being a detective is a job for a man.
And yet you do it every day, William.
What we experienced is apocalyptic.
We're learning the lessons to not go through that again.
I'm Gustavo Dudamel. Join me in concert at the Hollywood Bowl.
These and other shows from your PBS station are available with Passport on the PBS Video app. Download it today.
It's prime time on your time. Watch Prime Afternoons every weekday on Arizona PBS. Did you miss a show in the evening? Then catch up on Prime Afternoons, your favorite dramas.
No more bloody heroics.
Antiques Roadshow.
Really?
Nature and Nova.
It's time to reintroduce some wonder into this miracle of nature.
All of the best from PBS on Prime Afternoons. Weekdays starting at 1:30, only on Arizona PBS.
Would you be able to rollerblade 96 miles in one day? A member of the Coyotes took on the challenge to honor a special person close to the Arizona franchise. Cronkite sports reporter Madden Johnston-Thomas takes us through the Skating for Leighton event.
Lindsay Fry rolled out just after sunrise, starting a 96-mile journey across the valley. The Coyotes executive's main motivation was keeping alive the memory of one special little girl.
I think the most important part for me and the most meaningful is the fact that people are remembering Leighton and they're feeling inspired by Leighton, and that's the biggest thing.
The trek started at Phoenix Children's Hospital in honor of Coyote superfan Leighton Accardo. The 9-year-old passed away from stage 4 cancer last year. Leighton's siblings joined Fry for part of the journey that took her to every ice rink in the valley before finishing at Gila River Arena.
It says a lot about how strong the hockey community is here in Arizona. Every rink did their part to make sure they showed support today, and that means a lot.
Skate hard, have fun was a phrase Leighton always said, something Fry used to push her to the finish line.
Anytime I caught myself getting frustrated, I just reminded myself, skate hard, have fun, and put a smile on my face.
On average, a rollerblader skates 8 to 16 miles per hour. Despite the endurance battle, Fry has felt the support from fans throughout every stride.
The crowds were huge, especially toward the end. I needed them just to get that energy and stay external.
An avid hockey player, Leighton became an honorary teammate of the Coyotes, leaving a lasting impact on the organization.
Just knowing how much joy she brought to everyone. I think that's the one thing that she left behind, and the one thing that we obviously wear on our helmets, and she's gone, but obviously not forgotten, and will be a part of this organization for a very long time.
The goal was to raise $49,000 for a girls' hockey scholarship fund in Leighton's name. The total has exceeded $70,000. In Glendale, Madden Johnstone-Thomas, Cronkite News.
Fry wants to make this an annual event and already has ideas for years to come.
That's it for Cronkite News tonight. Thanks for joining us. For top Arizona stories anytime, go to cronkitenews.azpbs.org.